Welcome to Section 420, Talkin Yankees, the podcast. Well, the Yankees are really starting to look like the Yankees again, come up with a very impressive series win up there against the Toronto Blue Jays, taking 3 games out of 4 there, and kind of the elongated series against the, now new rivaled Toronto Blue Jays. Get into all that, as well as all the Judge controversy with the peaking. I know it's a little bit old news, but I'll give a little breakdown of that, just what my opinion. And, of course, we'll look at that second game, which will probably, you look in the future as, on the Yes Classic, Yankee games, that's definitely going to be up there in the Yes Classic with all the stuff with Germán being thrown out for the substance and Judge hitting a big home run after all the drama of the first game. So get into all that cool stuff. So make sure you subscribe to this podcast. The only way to listen to that by being a podcast subscriber. So yes, on YouTube, yes, on TV in certain areas in New York. But this little wrap-ups and other stuff is exclusive for you podcast subscribers. So make sure you subscribe and get notified. New content goes up throughout the rest of the season. So the Yankees, after... Again, kind of a impressive, unimpressive. I'd say more of an impressive split against Tampa at home. Again, there was some good takeaways from that. Really, the Yankees should have taken 3 out of those 4 games. But Yankees overall, you just like the fact that they've been playing a little bit better. Again, the only problem lately has been more the pitching than the hitting. So I think the pitching will get rectified a little bit. And we got Severino just around the corner, finally, which I'll get to towards the end there. But the Yankee offense coming alive a little bit, mainly Judge, Volpe as well. So you like seeing that. And this, even though they split 2 against Tampa, you like the team starting to kind of go in the head direction now, going up against another AL East foe, Toronto Blue Jays, who last time these two teams locked horns, Toronto came here and beat the Yankees 2 out of 3. The Yankees really, I believe, was their first series loss of the season. And in doing so, really just completely shut down the Yankee offense. And it was really almost starting of a low point for the Yankees back in April, even with Judge in there, the offense wasn't clicking. They were just looking dead, lethargic, and the Blue Jays just came in here, basically shut the Yankees down for 2 out of 3 games. Really, Toronto should have swept. The one game the Yankees won was, I believe the Yankees were up 2-0. Wandy Peralta gave up a game-tying home run, and then the Yankees were able to win it in the bottom of the 9th or bottom of the 10th like that. I think a DJ walk-off. But the Yankees just skirted to get that one win. Other than that, the Yankees were completely shut down. So the way to sort of take 3 out of 4 up in their building, again, with that in your mind, was quite impressive for the Yankees. So for game 1, actually kind of interesting, it was Alex Manoah, who's kind of been the new rival for the Yankees. Again, he's the one who plunked Judge about a year ago. And that's the one who, he's been talking smack about Cole, calling Cole a dirty player and challenge him to come up to him, if they ever get on the field, stuff like that. So Manoah's been, I guess, public enemy number 1, at least in terms of some of the Yankee eyes. And for the Yankees, Boone kind of threw a little twist in there. Actually went with a, maybe because they just faced Tampa and they kind of rubbed off them, went with an opener. And I remember, just hearing Boone getting killed before this game. We went with Jimmy Cordero to start the first inning. Why is he doing this? Oh, he's just giving this away, blah, blah, blah. But it turned out to work out for the Yankees, and it turned out to work out for Aaron Judge. So Judge in the first inning against Manoah there, kind of a rematch from getting plunked about a season ago. Judge takes Manoah deep, and this is going to bring all some interest a little later. Puts the Yankees on the board early in the first inning, 1-0, and then Willie Calhoun adds a home run on his own with a runner on, puts the Yankees up 3-0 early on. And Manoah, he's a good starter. I mean, he's pretty solid, but not really having a great, good season start of this season so far. And the Yankees teed off on him a little bit. Now the Yankees pretty much were cruising along the rest of the way. Ended up going with Johnny Brito to kind of carry them over the hump there, and he would end up getting the win in this game. But the drama came a little bit later. Judge up in the 4th. The Yankees already up 4-0 with the bases loaded. And really, Toronto was kind of staying away from Judge most of this game. I understand why. Pretty much anything they put in the zone, he was taking deep. If not, he was taking walks as well. So good game by Judge. But did walk with the bases loaded there. So put the Yankees up 5-0, and Judge up again in the 8th. And this is really where the drama happened. Now, Boone and really both sides were kind of barking at the home plate umpire the entire game, but then Boone went too far and getting himself tossed. And even with that in mind, still the Yankee bench was chirping a little bit with Judge's at bat. And while I was up there, it looks like just before the pitcher was about to throw, Judge kind of peeked over there just to see what's going on, and then peeked right back in. And as the pitcher delivered the ball, hit a bomb to center field, his second home run of the game, put the Yankees up at that point 7-0. But of course, all the controversies after where mainly the Blue Jay announcers, broadcast teams, noted that Judge looked over at the dugout first and then looked at the pitcher and then dumped the pitch deep into center field, kind of implying that maybe the Yankees were stealing signs, and Judge was looking over at the bench to get a sign of the ball, whether it's going to be inside, outside, breaking pitch, not fastball, whatever system they think the Yankees put together on that. And then, of course, not technically cheating, but it's stealing sign. You kind of get caught doing it since, it's not seen as a great thing. So that was a controversy. Now, Toronto did claw back against Yankee bullpen, also helped by some sloppy play in the field. They did put up a 4th spot in the 8th inning, but really this game was pretty much well in hand for the Yankees, and they come away with the 7-4 win. But of course, all the talk was around Judge and peeking over there. Now, look, this is my breakdown of it. 2 things. Number 1, Duly noted, as long as no one's using any sort of electronic devices, technically stealing signs is not really illegal. It's not wrong. It's like a bad look. It's kind of like scratching yourself, your backside, and then someone catches you. Like, it's not good, but it's not illegal. If the Yankees were doing that, we don't even know if they were doing that. And of course, there was some also talk the Toronto bench was complaining that maybe the Yankee first and third base coaches were, out of their box and trying to peek in on the catcher there and then kind of trying to relay a sign to the dugout. And I don't know if that makes sense. First of all, no first or third base coach is ever in that little box that's designated for them. I mean, they all stay outside of it pretty much because those line drives go, they almost could kill them. So I just think really the situation, look, Judge really went deep in the game. The guy hit 62 home runs last season. I just think, honestly, as Judge said after the game, he just probably heard some cursing and stuff going on in that dugout. He just probably wants to see who's talking smack. Like, we're up 6-0. Just shut up. In the eighth inning, just whatever. Stop barking over there. I take Judge's more take on it. And even if the Yankees were able to somehow steal signs and relay them across, again, it's not illegal anyway. It's just you got to cover up. And then, of course, the relief pitcher afterward said, well, the way I was setting myself, I probably was tipping my pitch and stuff like that. It's like this guy, again, threw like 4 garbage sliders in a row in the middle of the plate. I mean, this is Judge. I mean, you throw garbage like that, he's just going to take it deep. And he did it 62 times last season. And he's already done it once in the game, early in this game against Manoah. And now he's hitting his second home run in the game. So the whole thing's just ridiculous. I think there's much ado about nothing. They're trying to stir controversy like that. So this will take us to game 2 with all that in mind. It's probably, as I mentioned at the beginning of this podcast, that's going to go in the Yankee Classics. I mean, just the game itself with all the drama involved, the back and forth. Now, it was Domingo Germán versus Kevin Gausman, and the Yankees, top of the third, did put up a 2 spot there against Gausman, so to give Germán a lead. But Germán, after 3 perfect innings of him, comes out to the 4th inning, and I guess the umpiring crew, who apparently this was the same umpire crew that won Germán back at home at Yankee Stadium in the game against Minnesota. Again, that's the game where he pitched into the 7th inning. That was probably the first really good start of the season there. And that's the time where he was caught, but they took some mercy on him. They just told him to wash his hands off, and that was that. And that was a game where the Minnesota manager managed to get himself thrown out of the game to protest it. But nevertheless, the same umpiring crew went to Germán. I guess whatever this mix of rosin and alcohol and stuff like that, just I don't know what the whole deal is. Nevertheless, it was considered too much of a foreign substance, so they pulled him out of the game. And according to them, it wasn't a situation where the Toronto bench asked the umpires to look at him. It was something they took upon themselves. Again, this is the same crew that worked that Minnesota game. So now the Yankees are out of starter, and they're going to have to go to the bullpen. Something the Yankees have been going to a lot lately, and it's really was a bad situation for them. Now, in the 5th inning, ready up 2-0, kind of Falefa hit his first home run of the season, opposite field shot there, so give the Yankees a little bit more cushion at 3-0. But unfortunately, in the 5th, that all evaporated for the Yankees with Rob Marinaccio on, and this was another situation where I think Boone is stuck with him too long. Apparently he was going to have it. Gave up a home run to Kevin Kiermaier. George Springer got on with a hit, but he would score on a double from Bichette, and then after that, on second base, Guerrero Jr. would knock in Bichette with a single up the middle, and just literally in a blink of an eye, a 3-0 Yankee lead evaporated in the blink of an eye, 3-3. Again, Marinaccio was struggling there. Really, after the Bichette double, you should have took Marinaccio out of there. I don't know what Boone was. Again, Boone has been really making the past couple of weeks some really puzzling calls of either leaving someone in too long or taking someone out when they shouldn't have taken them out. And this is, again, another bad call by Boone. Clearly, Marinaccio was tiring. I understand you have to get through the innings, and you have, the 6th and 7th and 8th and 9th innings to worry about. But still, with that in mind, stuck with Marinaccio way too long. Now, really, the hero of this game should be Ryan Weber, who the Yankees called up recently. Was able to hold down the fort after that and provided 2 1/3 innings of scoreless relief, and that was really important for the Yankees to keep the score tied 3-3, because in the 8th inning, with all the controversy of the first game with Judge and all that, rips a bomb to center field and actually breaks the WestJet sign there way out in center field, right under that Toronto or the hotel there in the Rogers Center, breaks off a piece of the lettering there, just like something like out of The Natural. Remember that the Robert Redford character, hitting home run balls and breaking big clocks and breaking lights and stuff like that. So Judge was very angry at the accusations, and he took it out on this pitch. Able to turn the score to get a dramatic home run with all that in mind, all the stuff, all the hype, all the stuff with Germán getting thrown out. Hits that big home run, put the Yankees up 5-3. The Yankees would tack on another run in the 9th to double the score at 6-3. And, of course, the Yankees would come away with the 6-3 win. Again, a very satisfying win, just with all the controversy, with everything in mind. Again, against the foe, Toronto Blue Jays, who, again, they've kind of been like the new Boston recently. Boston's kind of been quiet. The Yankees, Toronto have been going back and forth past couple of seasons over that AL East there. So again, a very satisfying win, and kind of interesting the way Boone did out the rest of the innings there in the bullpen. Went with Holmes in the 8th, and then had Peralta yet again close the game in the 9th. So we've seen Boone do twice during the Tampa series. So clearly, Peralta is now the de facto, at least for now, Yankee closer. Now, Holmes has been better lately, and in that 8th inning role, so maybe it's the less pressure on him. I don't know what the deal is, but clearly Holmes has lost his job. Maybe at some point they'll switch him back in, but Peralta is now the closer for the Yankees. So the Yankees up with the take up the first 2 games there, and you're feeling good. Game 3 with your ace Garrett Cole on the mound versus the former Met Chris Bassett. Unfortunately, the game the Yankees lose now, it really wasn't Yankees' fault. It was kind of a tug-of-war that went nowhere for 9.5 innings. Basically, no one scored, so, that's pretty much the problem there. No one really put anything together. Toronto themselves were 0 for 16 before the bottom of the 10th inning with runners in scoring position. Unfortunately, it all came apart for the Yankees in the 10th inning, and just of course they used everyone else. Peralta on the mound. Now, the Blue Jays had ghost run of Biggio on second there, as per the extra inning rules in the 10th. I'm sure Boone didn't really want to have to use Peralta there in that situation, but again, pretty much used up everyone at that point. But of course, an error by Volpe allowed runners to be on first and third. Now, the Yankees did get one out with Alejandro Kirk, able to get him the ground out, but so kept the runners at first and third there with just the one out. But then Danny Jansen, all he needed to do really is hit a sac fly, but he did a little bit better than that. Hit it over the wall in center field there. 3-run home run off of Peralta, and the Yankees just take an annoying 3-0 loss there. And it's one of the things is, what are you going to do at some point, especially if you're in extra innings and in the other team's ballpark? You're pretty much a dead duck, especially that runner, the ghost run at second base. So it's just one where not the Yankees got beat bad. It's just, hey, look, Cole went 6 innings, scoreless, scattered 7 hits, 6 strikeouts. But unfortunately, Chris Bassett, the former Met, was just as good. He went 7 innings of scoreless ball, and the Yankees really couldn't put anything together. You like the fact that the Yankee bullpen before Peralta held down the fort. It was Holmes, Cordero, King, scoreless relief there. But unfortunately, at some point, that was going to break through, and whatever, you just take the loss there. Okay, fine. Which takes us to Game 4. Now, before Game 4, the Yankees made some roster moves. It turns out that Jose Trevino going to need a trip to the IL with a hamstring injury. And this finally brings up Ben Rovette, who we've been waiting for about a season and a half now. Again, he was involved in the Donaldson/IKF/ Gary Sanchez trade there, also throwing with our good friend Gio Urshela there. Again, the 5-way. Ben Rovette was kind of the throw-in of that deal, and obviously he was hurt almost all last year, hurt the start of this season, but now we're going to finally possibly be able to see him there. And again, nothing. You're not looking for anything special. He basically came up with Minnesota 2 seasons ago for a cup of coffee, but I guess Cashman saw something in him, and I guess the caveat with him though, he is a left-handed batter, so it's just something that the Yankees could throw out there to kind of mix and match the lineup there. So at some point we'll see him and see what he got there. Now, also the Yankees got some other news about Josh Donaldson, who's kind of working his way back from the hamstring injury. Now, supposedly he cut his finger making, I guess, a bologna sandwich or something. So he's going to have a setback a little bit. But again, no one's really in a rush to have him back there. So that now, Game 4, so it's the final game here. The Yankees are already up 2-1. And if you're the Blue Jays are trying to tie this, at least this series, but the Yankees, of course, you would like to really go up there and really give them a good gut punch and take 3 out of the 4 there. Now, in the first inning, Torres would lead off the game, and again, I don't like when Boone has him lead off spot, but we've seen Boone do it before, but nevertheless, it worked out here. Torres leads off with a single against Jose Barrios, and then the man of the hour, Judge, who already hit 3 home runs already in this series, hits another one in the first inning, put the Yankees up 2-1. Now, this was an important game mainly for Nestor Cortes, who's not been good lately, not looking at himself, and you're kind of wondering, is he hurt? Has he lost something? Was, last year a bit of a mirage? Not that I would think was going to get into that point, but again, we've seen Cortes get rocked lately against Tampa, against Texas, against Minnesota. Had a decent start against the Oakland A's, but of course the Oakland A's is a terrible team, so you don't really put much too stock in that. So kind of be wondering what's wrong with Nestor a little bit, but he did have himself a strong game. Now, in the bottom of the first, he did surrender a home run to Bo Bichette, who's, again, really put up some amazing stats. If you look, check out, he's hit well over 300. So, and again, he's someone the Yankees had originally drafted. I remember because Girardi had a relationship with his father, Dante Bichette, when they were both back with the Colorado Rockies. And at some point, he might have been a Yankee, but of course, I believe he was involved in the original deal when the Yankees got Urshela from Toronto. And I think Bichette was part of that, I believe. So he could have been a Yankee, but nevertheless, he's with the Toronto Blue Jays now. So he hits a solo home run, cuts the Yankees lead in half 2-1. But this is a game that the Yankee would hold on to. Nestor would, would be strong the rest of the way. And shockingly, our old friend Hicks in the 7th inning with Cabrera on, rip a single to center. Cabrera would come around to score, pad the Yankee lead to 3-1. Now, Toronto would pull in close to 3-2, but top of the 9th, Anthony Volpe would rip a 99-mile-per-hour fastball, pull it to the left field wall, hit off the foul pole, so to press a home run off a 99-mile-per-hour fastball. Increased the Yankees' lead to 4-2. And I guess with Peralta getting a lot of work lately, end up going to Marinaccio. Again, kind of closer by committee, sort of deal with Boone. It's just the way he's doing it. He has the save there. And the Yankees will go on to win it, take this game 4-2. And again, it's a very satisfying series win there up there in Toronto for the Yankees. And Aaron Judge almost had a second home run in this game as well. He hit a bomb later on. It turned out to be a double off the wall there. But, here's the accusing him trying to steal signs and he's hitting home runs left and right. Of course, all the cameras have been on his eyes ever since that first little blemish in the eighth there. And he's always looking forward. So the whole thing was just ridiculous. But nevertheless, Yankees take 3-4 there. And we'll move on to the Cincinnati Reds. So a little interleague action there. And now the big news, of course, Boone announced after his good rehab start in Somerset, Severino will now finally make his 2023 debut in the Sunday game against the Reds there. Now, unfortunately, I believe the game is going to be on the Peacock Network, so some fans may be limited to have access to the game, and they're not going to be too happy about that. So he's going to have his debut, but maybe 75% of the Yankee fans are not going to be able to see it. So nevertheless, maybe have to listen on the radio anyway. So the Yankees kind of crawling up there, the AL East ladder. Technically tied for Toronto for third, but because of the percentages, I think they're giving the Yankees the official third place standing in the AL East there. But nevertheless, 6.5 back, still, climbing their way back. So, things are looking good for the Yankees. And if we get Severino back going good, I think that's great. That means, the Yankees can kind of shuffle the rotation around a little bit. Now, obviously, with Germán, forgot to mention before, since he got caught with the substance, same as Matt Scherzer, he's now going to have a 10-day suspension. So he's going to miss, of course, at least 2 starts there. So that probably keeps Clarke Schmidt in the rotation, at least for another turn or two. But at a point, once that wears off, you could put Germán back in, put Clarke Schmidt in the bullpen. I think that helps as well, just to have Schmidt in a role of long relief, which I think he's fine with. I just don't think he's a starter because I don't think him going through a lineup 3 times doesn't usually turn out well. Him, maybe giving you 1 to 3 innings if necessary. That's where I think Clarke Schmidt's better suited for the Yankees. So all good there, all good with Judge, and of course Volpe as well. And again, the offense is coming to life there, so I think the Yankees need to tighten up the pitching a little bit and kind of figure out a little bit of formula with the bullpen. Boone's just going by matchups on a day-to-day basis, but at some point I think that's going to wean off, so we'll see. And kind of in funny other news, that kind of people making a big deal of this. Now it looks like Chapman, there in Siberia land, actually, pitching for the Kansas City Royals, touching 104 miles per hour again on the gun. So was the situation was hurt with the Yankees? Was he out of whack? We don't know. Did the tattoo heal? Maybe the tattoo healed. We don't know. Now, is that an option I think the Yankees would bring in here? No way. Even if he's doing great. Now, it would make sense because he's a closer. He has experience. He's pitched here. But I really can't see a scenario of him coming here, especially not just because he was just terrible last year, but just that way he skipped out on the practice before the playoffs. They essentially just given up on the team when he probably felt that he was probably going to be left off the postseason roster. Left a bad taste in everyone's mouth. So even if he's pitching like a stud, I just don't see any opportunity that Yankees would bring him in, even though they could probably use him. I just don't see him coming back here, so that's not happening. So we'll catch you next time after the Reds, and hopefully Severino is standing on the hill after a 3-game sweep. We'll see. Catch you next time.